Hello and welcome to another tier list video. Today we are taking a look at the characters from Team Fortress 2. Now Team Fortress 2 is such a classic game. It's been around for such a long time and even today still has a relatively active player base considering the game came out so many years ago. This is a game that I used to play a decent amount back in the day, especially before I got into CSGO. I really don't play it as much as I used to, but every here and there I'll still launch the game and play it for an hour or two. So I've played all these characters, many times. I am absolutely horrible at the game even today. So take that with a grain of salt when I'm ranking these characters, but I'm not going to be ranking them based on, how strong do I think they are. I think all the characters have their objective strengths and weaknesses. I'm just going to be ranking them based on how much do I enjoy playing them, and keep in mind that I do not have all the weapons unlocked, not even close to all the weapons unlocked for all the characters, so that's also something that can have an effect, but I'm just going to be ranking them based on, the experiences that I've had. So, starting us off, we have the Scout, which is of course the fast-moving offensive class. You get 2 jumps, and honestly, I'm not really a huge fan of the Scout. I do have a couple of different shotguns for the Scout, a couple of different melee weapons, but I've never really been a huge fan. It's fun to be able to run fast and to be able to jump twice, but for me, I never had much success playing Scout, and to be honest, it's probably my least played character in the game. So I don't hate it, not an F tier. I don't really think any character deserves to be in the F tier, but Scout is personally my least favorite class to play, so it's going to find itself down in the D tier. Up next, we have Soldier, who on the contrary is probably my most commonly played character. I love the Soldier, I love the rocket launcher, partially just because it's so easy. I mean, you got such big area of effect damage, especially with some of the rocket launchers. You get pretty good splash damage, you can rocket jump. I absolutely love rocket jumping. One of my favorite parts about playing Soldier is just rocket jumping all over the map. And again, a pretty easy character to play. If you have a medic behind you, Soldier, super fun to play. Definitely my favorite character on this list, and for that reason, he's going to find himself up in the S tier. Up next, we have Pyro. Now, Pyro, of course, the flamethrower menace. Pyro is interesting because I feel like when I'm playing up against Pyros, I'm always just getting destroyed. They're ambushing me around a corner and letting me on fire and taking me down. And I think, man, Pyro is so overpowered. I'm going to play Pyro. And then I play Pyro, and, well, let's just say, things don't go to plan. I try and ambush people. I try and redirect the projectiles with the right click on the flamethrower, and never really works that well, honestly. So Pyro, I think he's good, but for some reason, I just can never live up to what I've seen other people do with him. So for me, he's only going to find himself in the C tier. Up next, we have Demoman. As you can probably guess, I like Soldier because he's easy. He's got big explosions, good AoE damage. Demoman is no different. He's got the grenade launcher and the sticky bomb launcher. I absolutely love the sticky bomb launcher. When I play Demoman, that's usually what I go for. I just take the sticky bomb launcher, put a ton of sticky bombs in one spot, and then wait for somebody to show up and then just blow them all up. Not exactly the best strategy, but for me it is satisfying. And also the grenade launchers are just super fun, just to fire them super far across the map and hit people. I've had a couple cross-map kills with the grenade launcher, and it's always satisfying to get those. So Demoman is honestly going to be another S tier for me. Up next, we have the Heavy. Now, when I very first started playing Team Fortress 2, this was my favorite character. I played Heavy almost non-stop. And honestly, he's, not super difficult to play. You got the big machine gun, you're the tankiest character, and if you have a medic behind you, you can really deal some good damage. This is one that's really fun to play if you're playing with somebody else, and one of you is playing medic, one of you is playing Heavy. It is just a menace to deal with, super hard to kill. You can take down pretty much anybody in a 2v1, and most people in a 2v2 as well, so really fun to play. I do have a few different miniguns that are fun to use as well. So Heavy, I don't play him quite as much as I used to, but he's still got an important place in my heart, so he'll find himself up in the A tier. Up next, we have Sniper. Now, honestly, this is a guy who I've played a lot more in recent years when I've picked up the game. Partially just because my aim is a lot better than it used to be when I used to play. So Sniper is one, of course, you've got the sniper rifle, but I actually really like using the bow and arrow, or I think there's 2 different bows, but really fun to use on the Sniper. A little bit more difficult to use than the sniper rifle, I would say, but you got the faster fire rate, and it's just so satisfying when you get that long-range arrow headshot. For me, there's nothing more satisfying in TF2 than that, so Sniper, honestly, back in the day, he probably would have been a C tier for me, but at this point, he's more of an S tier for me, so I'll kind of average that out a little bit, and he'll find himself in the A tier. Up next, we have Medic. Now, Medic is a character who, for me, I really gotta be playing with somebody else, because if I'm just healing a random player, it's a lot harder to coordinate where you want to go, what you want to do, when you're going to uber charge. So Medic, if I'm playing by myself, I would say he's really only a C tier, because, you know, you really only want to go for the healing. His weapons, not that impressive, especially the default syringe launcher is very underwhelming in my opinion, but the heal effect, of course, is what the Medic is known for. And if you're playing with somebody, it's super fun, but if you're not, it's not as fun. So Medic, it'll kind of average out to about a B tier for me. Up next, we have the Engineer. Now, this is another character I used to play a lot alongside the Heavy back in the day. I used to love just, you know, setting up in a spot on the map, building my turret, putting down my dispenser, getting it to level 3, and just waiting for that enemy to show up. At this point, I don't really find that as fun as it used to be, but Engineer still is pretty fun. I still like playing him occasionally, but of course, in terms of weapons, he doesn't really have much to go on. It's mostly just about that turret, about the dispenser, and the teleporter. With that in mind, the weapon that allows you to control your sentry turret is really fun. I love using that one, so you know it's a little bit more interactive when I use that. So Engineer, a fun character, but not my favorite one to play anymore, but he'll still find himself in a solid B tier. Up next, we have Spy. Now, Spy for me is kind of like Pyro, where I'm getting backstabbed, getting killed by spies, and then I think, man, Spy is so good, I'm going to try that, and I play as a spy, I disguise myself, and instantly the enemy team just knows I'm a spy and is killing me, and it just never works out. I've played Spy a bunch of times, and I've never really had that, you know, highlight play that I, you know, sometimes see spies get against me, but I still enjoy playing them, and for me, Spy is still going to be a solid B tier. Well, that's my list. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed.